Today on the channel, Andre the Giant, Fezzik, Princess Bride from McFarlane. Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another McFarlane unboxing and review. And today we dive into the Princess Bride collection with Fezzik, or as some know him, Andre the Giant. But for all your Princess Bride McFarlane figures, hit up Big Bad Toy Store. Link in the description below. And we're going to do this unboxing like we do all the other unboxings on the channel. We're going to take a look at the packaging. We're going to talk about it. We're going to unbox it. We're going to talk about it. We'll see where it goes from there. And of course, we're going to do some Andre comparisons of some different figures I grabbed from just my collection to see how they look together, I guess. But big packaging. That's the first thing we noticed with this bad boy. I expected this to be a big figure, but I didn't expect it to be this big of a figure. And it's all a little bit of smoke and mirrors out there, including back in the Princess Bride movie, as I don't think I've ever seen the Princess Bride all the way through. I'm not a big movie guy. I obviously remember the movie. I remember a lot of scenes from it that have been posted. I mean, movies like this you've seen clips of over the years, but I'm by no means a Princess Bride expert out there. But I do enjoy Andre the Giant, and that's the only reason I bought this figure. I'm not getting the rest of the Princess Bride figures, but I figured as an Andre the Giant, it was a cool conversation piece to have, and that's where I went. But I remember, I think, reading or hearing somewhere along the line that they used a little of those old smoke and mirrors, a little bit of movie magic, and they were trying to make Andre the Giant even bigger in size in that movie, which makes a little sense with this, as McFarlane is a bigger scaled figure. It is a 7-inch scale figure, where more wrestling is more 6-inch, Marvel Legends 6-inch scale, of course, stuff like that. So scale-wise, this is a little bit bigger, but it is in its own universe. So that's the other thing. You want to compare it to other stuff, but you can only really compare this figure's height inside of the Princess Bride universe, if that makes sense. So that's a little bit of that. But we're going to talk about this figure. Like I said, I don't know a lot about the movie, so we're not going to really talk about that. To me, it looks like Andre the Giant from the old Honeycomb commercial. Oh, love the Honeycomb commercials. I never ate a lot of honeycomb, but once I saw Andre the Giant, I said, well, it's worth a try. Andre the Giant tried it, I'll try it too. And I did, and I went back to my Captain Crunch. Old school roof tearing Captain Crunch. That was the best. I miss the old roof tearing. I don't think they make that anymore. I don't eat a lot of cereal anymore either. I'm an oatmeal guy. I'm an old man. Maybe not. But anyways, let's take a look at the packaging. First, Princess Bride, Fezzik. What a name, Fezzik. Beautiful name. 12 and up on this one, predominantly on the package. They don't want any of you 11-year-olds even thinking about touching this package. McFarlane Toys in the other corner there. Nice kind of big background, big sky background. It's a fantasy world, not too much different than the Lord of the Rings, I'm sure. I'm sure it's just like that. It's somewhere a mix between Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, and The Devil's Rejects. I think that's where the Princess Bride pretty much falls in the movies. I could be wrong. Somebody correct me. Looks like he comes with a peanut. Oh, I love peanuts. Oh, nothing like them. And then a rock. Oh, rock accessory. Great weapon. Great handy weapon that's everywhere. On the side, you get Fezzik. You get a little bit of that window. You get a little Princess Bride, McFarlane on the bottom. And you get Princess Bride on the other side, and then you get two people getting ready to kiss. Oh, love a good love story. Oh, love story. I've never liked a love story movie. I've been on a million dates in my life, and never went to a girl chick flick. I just can't do it. I'm a man. I like what I like, and I do what I do. I've always weared my life on my sleeves. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm not going to some love story movie. It's just not going to happen. I'm not that guy. I'm not going to take you there. But there's Andre. Love how it's framed out. Beautiful. Just beautiful frame. I wish I could get that picture and I could hang it in my office. How cool would that look? We got the warnings down below. Princess Bride at the very top. And then you got some more frames of some of the other characters you can get. I believe some of these are showing up at Walmart. I don't know if I've seen them. I haven't really been looking for them either. But this Andre the Giant, I believe Big Bad Toy Store you can order him. But I think Amazon as well. I'll try to remember to put a link in the description below for that. So there it is. Princess Bride on the top. Warnings down below. Let's dive in here. Now, this packaging, like I said, is huge. It's immense. It's massive. It's a massive package. Very similar to our old pal, the Violator from McFarlane Toys. You guys know we all love the Violator. Oh, and he's got a stand. Look at that little stand in there. That should be interesting. It's kind of like the Violator. He came with a stand. See you later. Here it goes. And the bad thing is, some people could use this as a diorama, but it gets totally messed up when you get the stand off of there, pretty much. So that's always a little of that old school hard times disappointment. See you later, but I'm not putting up a stand. I don't even know what I'm going to do with this. This Andre the Giant figure in 2 years could be coming to one of those "it's so hard to see you, it's so hard to say goodbye" videos. See you later. There it goes. Princess Bride stand. We've seen these stands before. McFarlane, Mortal Kombat, DC, all that kind of stuff. Plastic Prison, a heavy figure here. He's got some weight to him, like Andre the Giant would. But he is strapped in all over the place. So we got to get the old handy-dandy scissors out. Let's free him from the old plastic prison. Just freeing people left and right. Freeing them from jail. You guys know how I do. I'm a simple man. Just freeing action figures every day. Oh, come on. There it is. I have yet to cut my finger off, so that's always a bonus there. Everybody loves a good finger, especially the middle. Everybody loves it when you get that middle finger. Oh, what a time to be alive. Come on. Jeez. Just fight me. Even the Rock is locked in here. I mean, if it was Dwayne Johnson, I'd understand, but this, I don't get it. I don't get it. Let me get this stuff out. We got a little peanut here. That's strange. All right. Oh my gosh. How am I going to get him out? This is an interesting one. Oh. He's like way back in the package, so he's tough to pop out. What are we doing here? What are we doing? I'd like to pop him out without breaking him. Oh, come on. It's just an absolute battle. Ugh. Yikes. Get the vacuum out. See you later. Get out of here. I'm knocking stuff over. This is just a mess. This is going off the rails fast. Real fast. All right. Let's look at the accessories first. We already talked about the stand. We got a rock. We got a big rock. Oh, I love a rock. I'm sure there's a scene in the movie where he threw a rock, hit a rock. He's a big giant. He picked up a boulder. It writes itself. All these movies write themselves. Take it from me, I'm one credit away from a film minor, so I'm kind of a film historian out there. Or not at all, but it is true. I'm one class away from a minor in film. So it's just a rock. A rock. Then we get this peanut here, very interesting peanut. It looks like a peanut, and I'm sure there's a scene where he's eating peanuts in the movie. It makes sense. It just writes itself, once again, much like the rock. I remember back in the old days, the olden times, when Kyle was first starting his working career, I worked for a place called Kraft Foods. You might have heard of it. And Kraft, I was slinging the Mr. Peanut. You remember Mr. Peanut? Of course. Planters, Peanuts, very famous. Some might say the most famous peanuts in the world. Some say Fisher, some say others. I say Planters Peanuts are probably the most famous. And I remember a lot of Planters collectors out there. They'd hit me up. Do you got any Planters, like posters? You got any standees? You got any Mr. Peanut stuff? And I remember we had this big March Madness promotion, all these standees of Mr. Peanut. And man, those things were worth a fortune. Everybody, hey, I'll give you $50 for that. I'll give you this. And I said, no, I'm keeping it in my personal Mr. Peanut collection. No, I think we threw it all away because we couldn't give it out, but so much of that stuff was stolen. I could tell you stories about promotional stuff. Oh, boy, let me tell you. But anyways, let's dive into Andre the Giant here. Big figure, no surprise. This is an interesting one. So let's go articulation first. You got the arms. Tons of movement on the arms. A little bit loose, but very heavy-duty arms. Head moves all around, of course. No waist, really. None of that. You do have elbow articulation. Single jointed. Boy, it is frozen solid. I'm going to heat this up. It will not move. You got hands. Oh, they move a little bit. Even got a little ratchet action on the hands, but it always looks funny with that ratchet joint right in there. It looks a little strange. But then Andre's got a big fist because he's a giant. What do giants do? They clamber their fists down. Or they're jolly green giants, depending what kind of giant you're... Oh, there we go. I got this arm to move at least. But big articulation in that arm. Knee articulation? Yeah, but it's weird. It's almost like a calf articulation. It feels like it's a little too low down. But he does have that. Then he has, of course, the ankle articulation. Boy, these are some tough joints. And then the toe articulation. Andre the Giant was always known for his fabulous toe articulation. He'd wow the guys in the locker room moving his toes around, and he would never cut his toenails. Never would. Just a crazy giant, that Andre. Loved to play some cards, loved to kick back, drink a few, and grab a rock and a peanut every once in a while. But it's a big one. Now, he's got the big old Andre afro going on. You know Andre, he loved a good afro. If you had his old original LJN, you know all about Andre and his afros. But that was quite the look for him. He's got a big old 5 o'clock shadow, almost too much of a 5 o'clock shadow. Very kind of strange, almost looks like he's dirt. He's got dirt on him or something. And then he's got the patented Andre sideburns, not as crazy as the End of Times Andre, kind of his last WWE appearance with the crutches and the bushwhackers and that kind of fun stuff. But he still does have those big sideburns. It does look better in hand, but it is a little strange as well. I can see people saying, I don't know. I don't think I want this. And this isn't for everybody. This is definitely for Princess Bride fans out there. If you love the Princess Bride, you're probably picking this up. If you're an Andre the Giant completist, somebody that loves Andre the Giant, you're picking this up. Outside of that, I don't see a lot of random kids. I don't see my daughter, Emma, going to the store. She's got, she's 7 years old, and she's got $10 in her pocket, or more like 40, I think, for this. I don't foresee her picking this up. I don't know. Call me crazy, but I don't know if there's a lot of young girls out there looking for an Andre the Giant Princess Bride figure, or little boys, for that matter. This arm is not moving. Oh, my gosh. Oh, I got it. I'm crazy sometimes. This could have just broke on camera, then I'd throw it across the room. That's how it would go, but I got it. But man, those are some tough, tough joints. There it is. Very crazy. But it's Andre. I mean, it looks like Andre, and I'm going to pretend it's Andre from the Honeycomb commercial. Like I said earlier, I think that's my Andre. This is what it reminds me of, and I'm here for it. Let's see if I can get this stand in his foot. I don't know what the stand is exactly going to do for him. He is so big. Gosh, these feet. I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't really, I mean, it helps a little bit, but I don't think it's even needed, and it is a bit of an eyesore if you're looking at this Andre. But not tons of articulation with this, but he's a giant. Giants aren't like Spider-Man, so they're not jumping around. But let's compare him to some other stuff. Let's compare him to the old Violator, one of the best figures of the year, bar none, for 2021. Violator, a heck of a lot bigger. Same price point. Actually, you can, if you poke around the interwebs out there, you can find this Violator fairly cheap right now. I think $25 is the cheapest I've seen so far. All day long, this Violator is a little bit cooler to me. But that's kind of the size comparison with the McFarlanes. I kind of thought Andre was going to be about the same size as this, because the packaging was very similar, but he is much smaller when you get him side by side. So there is that to take note of against the Violator. And then I grabbed some Andres. This is the first Mattel Andre I saw in my collection. When I gave it the look, I said, where's Andre? And I found this one. This is the Target exclusive 4-pack from back in the day, the Heenan family pack. So you can see, you can't even think about putting this with your Mattel figures. Nowhere near the right size. But we do have another Andre, a little bit bigger in size, from our friends at Super 7. An okay Andre. But this Andre right here, you can kind of see a little bit better in scale, but still, this thing is in its own planet, its own universe of scale. This is nothing like anything else you really can't compare to. And I believe it goes back, like I said earlier, from the movie where they said Andre, they made him look bigger than he already was, trying to make him feel like a really, really big giant, more bigger than his normal giant self. But an interesting moment in time figure. Princess Bride collectors will love it. Andre collectors will love it. Some wrestling crossover like somebody like me. But outside of that, I don't know if there's a lot of want for this figure. But I've heard people say they've been wanting Princess Bride figures for a long time. So there's a lot of people that do love that movie after all these years. And I get it. We all have our things we love. So I'm happy you guys that love the Princess Bride finally got your chance at a Fezzik. I shouldn't be calling him Andre. I should be calling him Fezzik. But you know what I mean, I think. But what do you guys think about this one? Did you pick it up? Is it an easy pass? Did you think about it? Did you know it didn't even exist? You guys tell me your thoughts on Fezzik in the comments down below. And then while you're here, hit the old thumbs up, like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, follow me on social media, SirPaul64 on Twitter, Instagram, _Kyle_Peterson, and of course, ProWrestlingTees.com, search Kyle Peterson. So for Andre the Giant, Fezzik, Princess Bride, and moviegoers everywhere, I am Kyle. See you guys all real soon.